Hi there, I'm Dean Heskin. Thanks for tuning into our podcast, The Secret War on Cash, where we take an in-depth look at some of the changing dynamics in the financial markets and the economy. I have with me my co-host today, Chris Agelastos. Chris, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Running around like crazy, but that's a good thing.
Well, it's the season and time for that. Gold price is at literally all-time highs right now. The country, currency, the markets, everything is in a, I wouldn't say in disarray per se, but I think like just in a fog of sorts, or just
Yeah,
like not knowing for sure what's going on and what's going to happen next. I mean, it's definitely of the 3+ decades I've been involved in investing in the markets. This is for sure probably been hands down one of the most interesting to watch and just unique situations. I'll put it that way, for lack of a better term. But
for
let's get right
sure.
into it. This first article actually is pretty unique in and of itself. Trump floats plan to slash or eliminate income taxes for millions using, quote, bonanza tariff cash. Now
Yeah.
that definitely is a headline right there. To
hmm
eliminate taxes, I mean, slash is great, but eliminate income
Right.
taxes for millions, that sounds too good to be true, number one. But number two, you start when you throw in there that tariff cash aspect. We know there's trillions and trillions of dollars that are in play here with what's going on with tariffs and everything else that's been going on with President Trump since he took, well, even since before he took office.
Yeah.
And you start thinking about that, like, well, maybe there is something to this. So I guess my question for you, Chris, is like, is it possible that he could actually eliminate some people's income taxes?
Here's the thing about President Trump. He doesn't exactly show you all the math on his calculations. So whether or not it's feasible or not, I don't know. I mean, he certainly is throwing a lot of numbers up there about the tariffs and how much income those could generate. And he also, interestingly, is talking about raising taxes on the wealthy as well. Now he kind of has backed off talking too publicly about that because he knows that talk of increasing taxes on anybody could potentially hurt the party or his reelection, as he jokes about running for a third term. Assuming that is a joke, I guess we'll see. But he was specifically talking here, gearing this towards people that make under $200,000 a year, which obviously those people could certainly, like anybody, use and appreciate a good tax break. But the other side of this is all the concern about increased prices and inflation here at home. And so, yes, these tariffs can potentially generate good income that could offset some taxes, and maybe, like you said, he could reduce or even eliminate income taxes for certain groups of people here in the U.S. But if it causes our prices at the grocery store to climb, are we going to be in a better situation? Is it going to be a net positive for us? So that's really where the concern is right now. Could he make some of the math work to reduce taxes? Certainly. To eliminate taxes, perhaps for certain groups like under 200,000, under 150,000, something like that. Really eliminate it for everybody. While I hope that's true, I'm not so certain that we could actually make that math completely work.
Sure. Well, it definitely, I mean, look, when it comes to shock and awe, President Trump, he's probably been one of the better at that. I mean, he'll throw things out there like he did with the tariffs. Now he's doing with
Yeah.
this, that, I mean, it'll get your attention, get you to stop in your tracks. And at this point, if nothing else, it will be interesting to see, you take, okay, that's the extreme, eliminating taxes, but where do we ultimately end up? At least wise, it's out there now, and it will be very
Yeah.
interesting to see where it ultimately lands. So
Yeah.
now this next article that I wanted to kind of look at today, because as we talk about, look, I mean, I occasionally run into people who say, I don't mind paying taxes. And, you know, I guess that's fair. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, you made money, so you pay taxes. I don't prefer it,
Sure.
number one. And number two, I also really don't prefer what they do with my tax dollars. But all that said and done, I mean, the bottom line is that, you know, the government comes in and they are taking a portion of your income and they're doing what they do with it.
Mhm.
This next article, you've got a U.S. senator who is reintroducing the Pelosi Act to ban Congress from stock trading. And the converse to this is in our first article, we're talking about how, you know, the government is taking money from Americans. And then you have basically, not basically, you have, in this case, Pelosi, but Congress people who have access to information that we, the rest of the people, do not have access to, and
Yep.
they're profiting from it. They're benefiting
Hmm.
from it, and in her case, they're benefiting greatly from it. And the other thing being is that if you and I were trading a stock account with the same information that Pelosi has, and the SEC found out about it, we'd go to jail.
That's
Like
right.
we'd be in serious trouble. So the reason I want to talk about this, I mean, it is interesting to look at the contrast, as I mentioned, but also like this seems to be just such an obvious thing. This is something that it makes perfect sense that they should do this for a variety of reasons.
Hmm.
Much like getting rid of taxes, and is that possible? Is something like this, which just seems so obvious. Do you think this is actually possible, or is this just another headline?
Honestly, I think we have a better chance of eliminating our income taxes from the first article than the people in Congress taking away some of the privilege that they've given themselves over the years. On both sides of the fence. I mean, when President Trump ran the first term, and we heard, he was coming in to clean the swamp, he wasn't just talking about the left. Certainly there were a lot of big examples there, but unfortunately, there's people on both sides of the fence that have used this loophole to make themselves wealthy. And in fact, I believe that a lot of them want to get into power positions in Washington simply so that they can use their knowledge and influence to ingratiate themselves. And that's what really drives the average person crazy. Or one of the things about our politicians is that there's rules for thee but not for me, and they get away with so much already in their position of authority. Do we really need to allow them to siphon off of Wall Street hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars realistically between all of them in gains? And I mean, the fact that this is even named after Pelosi, you'd think she would have a little bit of humility about it, and she just brushes this question off anytime it gets asked to her, pointed out to her how wealthy she has become while in office. She acts like it's no big deal. It doesn't even really refute it. She just kind of ignores it. But how do you go from being worth hundreds of thousands or maybe a million to 150, 200, 300 million dollars while you're in office, and tell me that you didn't use insider information?
Right, right. And that's just it. I mean, the access they have to those things. I mean, if you really think about it, in a manner of speaking, an elected official who becomes wealthy by way of what Pelosi has become wealthy,
Hmm.
in a way, it's kind of a tax in and of itself, because she's been able to position herself into something before the masses because of information
Right.
or knowledge that she has before the masses. And as the masses come in, they are paying, I'm going to call it a form of tax by way of a higher price for that same investment.
That's
And
right.
so it is a form of like indirect taxation by way
Hmm.
of, these elected officials, if you really think about it. And so
Yeah.
that's why, I mean, I look forward to watching this story as well, because I hope it doesn't just go away. And I do understand, I mean, if you think about it, they need to invest for their future, and the stock market is a very common place to invest. So it's not a matter of like eliminating this investment vehicle to them,
Right.
but in some way restricting. And look, the SEC can investigate any investor they want, that they believe has done something nefarious or may have been trading off of insider information. And as long as you could just put elected officials in that same category,
Yeah.
like every other American out there, I don't think that's an unreasonable request. And so
No,
hopefully there's some kind of teeth to this.
yeah, or even look, just even restrict it. And what they were talking about here was just kind of restricting it to their term. Now, of course, a lot of these people, will stay in office for as long as they can, so it can be over a number of years. But it doesn't mean that they can't necessarily invest in the stock market. Let them invest in the same funds that all of the rest of us get to invest in through our 401ks. But specifically going in and buying and selling individual stocks based on defense contracts and things that they know behind the scenes because they're voting on those packages. That's what needs to be stopped. I don't think anybody wants to prevent them from preparing and saving for their retirement. They just don't want them to be this greedy and being able to go in there with insider information and just clean up and kind of be arrogant about it. And I mean, most of them don't even cover their tracks. You can actually
Right.
invest in a fund that follows Nancy Pelosi's picks because they do have disclosure where she has to disclose what she bought and what she sold. But I think I believe it's quarterly. So by the time you get the information that Nancy had 3 months ago, a lot of these trades aren't going to be as good. So she certainly has a huge advantage, but it's just funny that there's actually a fund that people can invest in to follow her trades because, I think at this point she's better than Warren Buffett and everybody knows he's pretty good.
Right. Right. Well, let me tell you, and you, I think, knows, I have zero political aspirations. Zero. I mean, to me, it seems like the worst thing in the world to
Yeah.
sign up for it to do.
Mhm.
However, if they don't close this loophole, I mean, this is something that's kind of enticing. We're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
you can go in there and become an elected official and trade stocks and investments in a way that the SEC has very specifically prohibited forever and get
Hmm.
away with it, and it actually not be frowned upon, no slap on the wrist, and turn
Yeah.
yourself into to from a millionaire perhaps to a billionaire or a multi-billionaire. I mean, that's
Hmm.
a pretty good perk. That's a pretty good thing to sign up for. So I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe I'll reconsider if they don't close the loophole. We'll see. Anyway, Chris, tell people how they can get information or find out more about this secret war on cash that we keep talking about.
Yep. Visit the website, SwissAmerica.com. You can request a few of our different reports on there, or even just request general information. And there's a spot there where you can enter how you heard about us. You can also call or text 1-800-289-2646. Even after hours, that'll go to our message service. Just leave us your details and a good contact number. We'll get back to you and get some materials out the next day via USPS or even email if you're looking for something immediate.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chris. And for those of you tuning in, thanks for doing so. And for those of you who are subscribed, we thank you for that as well. And if you're not subscribed, please do. Other than that, look forward to talking to you more in the future. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you real soon.
Take care.